Hi everybody, this is SEK4110 and I have actually interrupted my scheduled video for this weekend to bring you this very important warning. Now I have, and I know many of you have as well, been following YouTuber Dutchsinse for some time. His ability to predict tornadoes is uncanny. Now he recently hooked up with a self-taught scientist named Hutchinson and his partner Nancy Lazayan, and are about to embark on some grand experiment with all of you utilizing frequency. Well, before you involve yourself in this, or even listen to any more of these videos with these frequency audios, you need to understand what you are possibly exposing yourself to. And should you decide to continue to participate in this experiment, you have been warned, friends. Now, Canadian John Hutchinson, according to my research, is a self-taught scientist who reports to have accidentally stumbled onto a collection of phenomena now called the Hutchinson effect. He did this during attempts to study the longitudinal waves of Telstar back in 1979. Now, according to Hutchinson, some of the effects produced with his research include levitation of heavy objects, metal samples turned transparent, metals turned into jelly, and other spontaneous fracturing of different metals. Now, on some of Dutchsinse's latest vids regarding these two characters, he wrote in the comments, not in the comment section, in the information section, the following. When Hutchinson and Lazayan were seeking methods to enhance the technology for remediating the nuclear fallout from Japan, Lazayan found Dr. Starz on the internet. Doc has worked for years in creating audio holograms, and Doc donated several tracks for Hutchinson to include. The intense, precise tones heard in the videos are these audio holograms. These clear, precise tones amplify and round out the frequencies. The Doc Starz audio holograms are used by Hutchinson for scientific and not commercial purposes. If you'd like more information on these visit Doc Starz of the Sounds of Starz Frequency Technology. He gives his YouTube channel, and then he gave us all his website. Well, that's exactly what I did. I wanted more information on these tones, so I went to Doc Starz, aka Donald Adams' website. Adams, or Doc Star, is yet another computer science guy. And as Dutchsinse mentioned, he's a developer of the frequency technology known as the Sound of Starz. You need to understand, friends, that this use of frequencies constitutes a new occult emerging technology. The dangers of this practice is beyond, as far as evil, beyond any New Age practice that I have researched and reported on thus far. According to the website that Dutch shared with all of us, Doc Star's site, it states, and I quote, "We are not talking about playing some light and fluffy New Age healing CD where you close your eyes and hope maybe you feel a little better somehow, or where you wear headphones and hope like heck that some subliminal tape or bi-natural beat CD will give you an edge, and maybe you'll notice that edge enough every once in a while to get the feeling like something is happening, sort of. No, what we are talking about here," he continues on, "appears to typically deliver frequent, very noticeable, very real, very manifest, and he capitalized the word manifest, changes. Changes that can be so startling and substantial that the effects often border on the positively shocking. This is what our users typically report, and on a regular basis. Now this site, Dr. Starz site, sells the frequency or tonal audio files, and he sells them for one purpose and one purpose only, friends, and that is to produce an associative, or better said, altered state of consciousness in order to open up your pineal gland, or better known in occult circles as your third eye, which provides a bridge, and a bridge you do not want to cross, because it is a bridge, friends, to the dark side. On his site, you won't believe this, in regards to the pineal gland, he compares your pineal gland, my pineal gland, our pineal gland, to a pyramid. And this is what he states, and I quote, "Obviously the pyramids were used for many things in different ways. But here is one of their primary functions not well known at all in the public. In fact, I can't say I've ever seen anyone reveal this before. It was a thought amplifier. It was meant to allow a single individual to impose their focused will on others and to draw in the energy from others." Now, according to another site, according to Max Hendile's Rosicrucian writing, these are more occult writing. This guy, this Mr. Star guy, is just as occult as the Rosicrucians were, called the Western Wisdom Teachings. It states that the third eye is localized in the pituitary body and the pineal gland. It is said that in the far past, that when man was in touch with the inner worlds, these organs were his means of ingress thereto, and that they will, listen up, and that they will again serve a purpose at a later stage. Meaning, according to the ancient mystics, this third eye, when open, can serve a purpose now and at a later stage. What is this purpose? As Dr. Starz said, your third eye, once it is open, is like a pyramid or a thought amplifier, and it's meant to allow a single individual to impose their focused will on others and to draw energy in from others. And who might this single individual be, friends? The possibility of the Antichrist comes to my mind, and the word strong delusion does as well. Now, what I'm about to tell you is horrific, in my opinion, and I'm going to put the link in the info box. But please listen to some of the feedback Doc Starz, this guy Doc Starz, has received from people who use his frequency audio files. Now, some of the users of these frequency audio files report a sort of sense of euphoria. Often they speak of it being similar to a jogger's high. But that's not all they're reporting, friends. They're reporting tingling in the crown of their head and facial sensations, tingling around their eyes and mouth. They are reporting out-of-body experiences, lucid dreaming, sense of a chakras being opened. Some are reporting an increase in various occult abilities, audio hallucinations, visual hallucinations, and I use the term hallucination loosely, because rather what's really going on is visitation from the dark side. And I'm going to read just a couple of the testimonies on this website, and this will be the first link that I'm going to put in the description box so you can go check them out yourself, because this is just a few of the horrific things that are being reported when listening to these frequency sound files, which you are listening to in some of Dutchsinse's videos. Okay, here's the first one, reported by a woman named Kathy, I believe. I was experiencing something I never felt before. I felt the same tingling on the top of my head as with the previous file, but this time it felt like it went off the top of my head. Again, I don't have words to really describe what I felt. The file was still playing, but it seemed different to me, and I cannot pinpoint why. I want to say that it was not as sharp, but it doesn't feel that. I want to say that it was not as sharp, but that doesn't seem right either. I was a bit overwhelmed by the sensation. Needless to say, feelings and thoughts embedded and flowed during the whole time. One specific thing that occurred during the second set. While I was trying to pay attention to the tones, I had this feeling that someone was standing in the doorway of my room. Here's another one. I listened last night. This is from, he actually has the, I'm not even going to say the names. He actually has their email addresses listed here, which is pretty unbelievable. I listened last night for a while, not the complete hour, and felt the energy enter my crown. While I was listening, I noticed a blue light, and there was someone there with me. Not sure who, but someone. Here's another one. This person saw, and I quote, a dark blue ball formed and started playfully moving around the darkness. It was morphing and bending. I calmly watched the ball, and it just felt just felt the sounds while keeping my mind clear. Then, get this, friends, a tall, blue, muscular man slowly rose and appeared out of a black and bluish to lighter blue space. Okay, here's another. While playing the frequencies in my office with the screen door and windows open to my yard, the wild birds started surrounding my house and were trying as hard as they could to get inside to the sounds, repeatedly attacking, this person says, in parentheses, she puts it, my screen door, and even entering my garage, searching out the source of the sound. DNA, Sweet Spin, and Ibogaine seem to attract them the most. He has different names for different audio files. When I tried to shoosh them away, they completely ignored me, showing no fear, and continued to try to come inside. Wow, what an experience. Here's another.